Terrell Thomas, These Urban Times, and we're sitting down today for this edition of Sideline Stories with our co-host, Miss Shayla Vaxter. How are you today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to see you. We have a big game in Atlanta tonight. Big game
Yeah.
Friday night hoops as our Atlanta Hawks will be hosting the San Antonio Spurs. Now, our Hawks are quickly approaching the All-Star break, so I'll talk to you and get some insight about that momentarily. But I want to talk on and speak on tonight's matchup. Our Hawks are currently in 10th place, and they sit on a record of 26-28. The Spurs, they're currently not in the top 12 or anywhere near the playoffs or the play-in tournament in the Western Conference. They sit at a record of 20-35, something we don't normally see for Coach Pop coach teams. But what are your thoughts on tonight's matchup as our Hawks, who are rolling, who are turning things around, but still under 500, as our Hawks welcome in the Spurs team?
Definitely. You know what? I don't worry about the Hawks until after the All-Star break. So I know we've dealt with trades and injuries, but I feel like as soon as DeAndre Hunter came back, our defense was strong again. And as soon as the trade deadline or trade talks started coming about, the players suddenly brightened up and got on their game. So I'm very excited to see the Hawks. Even though, of course, I keep my eyes closed until after the All-Star break. And then that's when I really judge them. But of course, Trae Young is incredible. I don't think Trae Young is talked about enough. Since he's been in Atlanta, we know exactly what he's capable of. And since he's been an all-star and of course, making himself very famous in the Garden, people are waking up to him, but he is incredible. Every game he's setting new records and we're just so lucky to have him in Atlanta. So I'm very excited about the Hawks' future, even though our record isn't the best. I think that we could possibly be a contender, or we definitely won't be sitting at the bottom.
Okay. And what about these San Antonio Spurs, as we mentioned, struggling a bit this season? Not what we typically see from the Spurs, but they do give a hard fought effort every single night. What are your thoughts on this upcoming opponent for our Hawks?
Definitely. I think the Spurs are sitting at number 12 in the Western Conference. And honestly, I'm very excited to see Dejounte Murray. I feel like he is a player that falls way under the radar, but he's standing at 6'4", his wingspan is 6'10", and he has amazing defense. He's a great playmaker, and he's working on his game and getting better. And I really like his story. I'm very excited to see him.
Yeah, that will be a great matchup between two great young guards in the NBA, two All-Star guards. Because of
Yes, two
course
All-Star
Trae
guards.
Young will
And
be
they
in the
shared the
game.
same birthday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You put me
September
on game.
19th.
Respect. I did not know that. That's hard. When you speak on Murray and speak on his story, could you just elaborate for those who do not know about some of the things and the obstacles, the great things that have taken place in his life to help him get to where he is?
Yes, definitely. So Dejounte Murray, even though he seems like a rising star, he's been in the league for 6 years now. And he says that he looks at Pop as a father figure, which is always wonderful when it comes to that great connection with your coach. But his past, he's had a rough past as far as his family being involved in gang activity or drugs. And he even did an interview saying that he felt like he was either going to go back to jail or juvenile, or he was going to die. And so when Jamal Crawford gave him that opportunity to mentor and reach out and really change his life around, that's what he did. And you can just tell in his spirit that he's an amazing player and he's very grateful for this opportunity. And it's so different to see players like Dejounte Murray, who are so grateful for the opportunity to be in the NBA versus Simmons, who's like, kind of Hollywood, I guess. Like he's not. It's nice to see players really appreciate, their opportunity to be in the NBA. And it's very wonderful to see somebody who comes from gang violence and drugs and that's all they know to be in the NBA and to thrive and to be an NBA all-star. Like that is absolutely incredible. So it's nice to see that the world is waking up to his talent and that they see that he's on the radar.
Thank you for elaborating on that. I think that's something that our viewers and our listeners need to know. So that
Yeah.
was a lot of great insight on your behalf right there. When we look at this matchup today with our Hawks and our Spurs, uh, who would you say has the advantage in the backcourt? Would it be our Hawks with Trae Young, or would it be the Spurs with Murray?
I think for sure the Hawks. Yes, I think Trae Young and the team's chemistry and where they're going right now, I don't think it's a match for the Spurs.
As we look at tonight's game, with our Atlanta Hawks hosting the San Antonio Spurs. And again, you can catch our Hawks live in action down on the farm at State Farm Arena tonight at 7:30. Tip-off will be about somewhere between 7:37 and 7:40, I'll say. So get to your seats once you get into the building. Give us your predictions on tonight's game. Will this be a blowout? And we see like the Hawks with a 20-point victory and Trae Young on the bench in the fourth quarter, resting, or will this be a tight game come down to the wire against the Spurs?
I think this is going to be a tight game, especially with the Hawks being completely healthy. I think that the Hawks will come out on top. I could see Trey having 40 plus, but also we have to watch out for Murray, right? Because he's making nothing out of something. He's like Jesus turning water into wine. So you never know what's going to happen there. It's very discouraging to see the Spurs be so low in the Western Conference and not being contenders, but I think it'll be a pretty good game, pretty close.
And outside of tonight's game, we do have two important games coming up for our Hawks. On Sunday, the Hawks will be taking on Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. And then following that game, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have been a surprise to many this season, having an extremely successful season thus far, will be coming to town. So just what are your thoughts outside of tonight's game on the Hawks' two games moving forward?
I really want to see what the Hawks are able to do closer to the All-Star break and after. I think so far the chemistry has, like I said, been better since the Cam Reddish trade. It seems like everyone is all together. And you know what? The momentum of the team has shifted since DeAndre Hunter has been back and brought that defensive um, front to the team. So I'm interested to see what the Hawks will do. I don't want to speak too soon because sometimes they disappoint me,
Okay.
but I see them trending upward for sure.
Okay, I definitely agree with you. I think I could possibly see them going on a 3-game winning streak beginning tonight, beating the Spurs. I think they'll handle business against the Celtics on Super Bowl Sunday. I think a lot of
Mm,
eyes will be on that game, so that'll be good for more national fans to get a look at the Hawks here. And I think
yeah.
the Cavs matchup will be a very evenly matched, evenly played game, but I think our Hawks will get it done there. But it
Mhm.
will be great. Trae Young has been in the spotlight recently. He'll be in the All-Star game, as you mentioned. He'll be
Yep.
competing in
Two
the 3-point.
time.
He'll be two-time All-Star starter.
Yeah.
He'll be competing in the 3-point contest. Hopefully, he can win that trophy and bring that on home.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good look.
And he's
Again,
the lead scorer right now in the NBA.
yes, indeed. Hell yeah. Yes,
Really
indeed. Yes, indeed.
exciting.
Yes, indeed. Please let our audience know how they can stay in contact with you, how they can receive more Hawks information, more sports information, and see the great things that you have going on in the world of sports and outside of the world of sports.
Yes. Okay, perfect. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Sports by Shayla.
Make sure you stay tuned to everything we have going on here at These Urban Times. Follow this young lady. She'll be providing a lot more great sports and entertainment insight. Let's go Hawks. Let's see what our Hawks do tonight. State Farm Arena. Stay tuned.
Go Hawks.